Good afternoon, Southern California. I'm John Baldwin with John Hart Real Estate, and today is July 11th, 2022. Can you believe it's July 11th already? It just time flies. Wanted to touch on one of my favorite topics. You know, I harp on it a lot, and that is inventory and months of inventory. There's a reason my broker calls it the magic metric. It's because when we look at inventory, we can see the health of the market, but also kind of what is going on overall with the market. So let me jump into this slide. I did put this up on my blog page on my website. So if you go to homesbybaldwin.com, the blog page, and then I put this up on June 28th, knowing that it would update with the end of the month numbers shortly. So let's check this out. So you can see here we are with the chart, and I put up a big chart. I wanted to see how much data I could pull into this. So this goes all the way back to January of 2008, catches the very peak of inventory in March of 2008 when we had entire MLS had almost 18 months of inventory. Now, we consider it a balanced market with roughly 6 months of inventory. So you can see how in March 2008, with almost 18 months of inventory, it was definitely a buyer's market for the entire MLS. And then when you look at, say, Burbank and Claremont right there, you were definitely on the buyer's market side of that 6 months of inventory. So, but let's get over to today. Here we are. End of the chart. It just updated for the end of the month with the June numbers. And here we are. The entire MLS, the CRMLS, is 2.1 months of inventory. Los Angeles City crept up to 2.8, Claremont jumped to 2.5, and Burbank jumped to 1.8. So the reason I'm using the term jump is because if we go back 1 month with these numbers, you can see Claremont was at 1.7 and Burbank was at 1.1, and the entire MLS is at 1.7. So these numbers took a decided jump there. Los Angeles City jumped half a month. Claremont jumped about 3/4 of a month, and then Burbank a little over half a month there. So we are still, historically low when we look at the last, 14 years here. But you can see we are getting back to what I would consider, 2013 to 2019 was considered a pretty normal market for California, which still had pretty tight inventories under that 6 month mark. But, in 2019, we were complaining about lack of inventory, especially in cities like Burbank. So you can see we were at 2.1 in Burbank in January of 2019, and we were complaining about inventory then. So yeah, we've been bouncing around this 2 month mark for a few years now. To even get to 3 months in Claremont, we had to jump back a bit. Yeah, that's 2018. Jumped to 2.7. I got up to 4 in 2018 in November, and then back. Yeah, so this is really interesting data. But yeah, there was a little bit of an inventory surge right then. But look at how it was tracking at that tight 2.3, 2.5. It was pretty consistent. Kind of hovering a little bit in a range there from about 2013 to 2019. Then there was a bit of a spike at the beginning of the pandemic, and then our inventory numbers got to unbelievably low numbers. That's 0.8 months of supply in December 2021. Now, I want to jump to this CNBC article because I think it ties with what we're looking at here. This came out on June 30th. Housing inventory in June was 19% higher than a year ago, but overall inventory is still about half of pre-COVID levels. Affordability is down. So when interest rates go up and prices are up, necessarily affordability is down because your cost for the same mortgage is going to be more expensive because your interest rate is higher. This is basic math type stuff, but they like to put it in these headlines like they're breaking some sort of, news, or they've cracked the code, but no, this is normal stuff. Anytime you have inventories down, prices up and interest rates up, prices are necessarily going to be rising because you have more buyers chasing fewer properties. Now, inventories are up right now, but until we get to that 6-month mark, or until we get interest rates to a point where it's going to cause, markets to shift based on strictly the interest rate, then I think, we're basically going to have, I would say, a return to normal appreciation. Now, remember, we were at like that 20% appreciation for a couple years. They're looking at maybe like a 10% appreciation for this year, 2022, because that's going to be part of the year in the crazy appreciation of the COVID years and part of the year in a more normal interest rate environment. So I'm thinking next year. I've seen a couple different statistics ranging anywhere from a traditional 3 to 7 to some people are pushing like an 8. I think we're going to be more in that like 5% ballpark. So definitely something to be considering, but let's take a look at these inventory numbers through time and keep watching them. That chart on my website will keep updating at the end of every month. So if you want to keep going back to that, it's homesbybaldwin.com/blog. And then you just search for the June 28th slide there. So give me a call, 213-973-3777. And let's talk about your housing strategy. Let's talk about what's going on with the market, because even though interest rates are up and inventories are up, we are not seeing a market crash. This is a return to normalcy. This is a return to normal appreciation and a less frenzied market. Now, as always, we're seeing reductions, but those reductions are reductions on asking prices. Sale prices are still up year over year. And until we start seeing significant inroads in the inventory, side of things, I don't think we're going to see much downward pressure on prices. What you're going to see is people who reach too high, thinking they could ask whatever they wanted, having to come back down to reality and pull that price back down in line with what they should have been doing from the start. Now, this all comes down to your listing and marketing strategy as well as your pricing strategy. Now, pricing strategy may be a little different than your marketing strategy. Marketing is more like how you're putting it out there. Pricing is where are you putting that number and why are you putting it there? So give me a call, 213-973-3777. Let's talk about your pricing strategy, because if you're listing high so that you can come down a little bit, you're going to hurt yourself. If you're listing low to generate multiple offers, you have to be careful. During the crazy market, we could list low knowing that we were going to hit our number because of the sheer volume of offers we are getting. And that was going to, get us to where we knew we were going to go, where we knew it was going to sell. So we could do what I call priming the pump, which is pricing it really low to just drive it. But in this market, I would think that being accurate is the better strategy. Be in line with your comps. Like, all right, the house down the street that's exactly the same size as mine has their very similar upgrades. That's my target, not 10 to 20% over what that guy got, which is what we've been able to do for the last several years. So again, we have to think about your different strategies for different market environments. So right now, accuracy is the key. You're not trying to prime the pump, because if you prime the pump, you could screw up. You don't want to screw up and sell low. So you need to be accurate. So this is one of the big shifts in listing strategies you need to think about right now. So give me a call, 213-973-3777, and let's get your house sold.